Some are pro-ocean, the other are pro-clouds, someone else is pro-animal, but there is not unity among them, and we have seen it in the failure of Copenhagen as well. So the question for you is, they were talking also about reaching the young, telling human stories, sexing them up, but then one of the person who was actually working for a research center was saying that she used press releases to divulgate her story. Now, I want to know from you, our creative director, and I've used tools since you were born in a different way from the majority of the audience here. How do you think you can sex up climate change?
That's a good question. Well, I believe that you have to use all of the tools that you have at your disposal. And I also believe that you have to welcome other voices into the sort of media wallpaper. And failing to do that, I don't think that we can really expect to change the cultural narrative that has basically created the problem that we're all experiencing.
Can you tell us a little bit about your company and the concept behind it and why it could become a very good tool for a journalist who wants to be a networked journalist rather than a gatekeeper?
Sure. So Citizen Global is essentially a network platform for crowdsourcing media. And the philosophy...
Sorry, everybody knows what crowdsourcing media is? How many of you know what crowdsourcing media is?
My name is Benjamin Nonay.
Reliability of the source, who you work for?
Deutsche Welle.
Guido, is it true? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm not a journalist myself, and I can only guess what it is. I suppose that it's that you get your information from public sources like Twitter, Facebook, you verify them and reuse them.
Okay, we asked the expert, is it correct?
In a way, yeah. The sort of basic premise of crowdsourcing is turning to the crowd and welcoming perspectives and vantage points. And the idea is that you can basically take all of these sort of separate opinions and viewpoints and basically create a meta-narrative that sort of speaks more broadly and addresses the question sort of in a more diffuse way.
Thank you very much. Can you tell us how did you leverage crowdsourcing to tell the story of climate change, and a constructive one?
Sure. I think a good example that we did was with an organization called 350.org. And their sort of mission is to draw attention to the atmospheric concentration of carbon to influence the UNFCCC talks in Copenhagen and now in Cancun. And what they did was organized a very interesting campaign to inspire people to be creative about how they draw attention to this concept of 350 parts per million carbon in the atmosphere. And as a platform, we enabled people to upload their videos and photographs to one central location where they could be aggregated and pushed back out in, as I said, a meta-narrative that spoke to the global nature of this event. And that was the International Day of Climate Action.
And you have some footage you want to show us, right?
Yeah, I could run that video for you real quick.
So this was created with the contribution of how many people?
This was, I don't know the specific number, but it was in 180 countries and many thousand different actions. Sorry, it's obviously at the end of my presentation.
Yeah, he had 35 slides, and I told him, no way you're going to present 35 slides. He had more. I said the same.
1, 2, 3.
350! October 24th, the world is not going to know what's hitting them.
Biggest day of international action the world has ever seen.
Climate justice! We want it now!
The day is finally here, and I cannot describe the emotion. Like, this is happening in 4,500 places in 179 countries today, and I think today we can really change the world.
here with 350 because I come from an island and it's very possible that it won't exist in the future.
Hi, I'm Jimmy from Malaysia. I'm here to support the 350.org. 350 rocks!
I have a question for Guido. How much would have cost to send correspondent to all these places, or use the Deutsche Welle network, or use even EBU subscription to get all this footage, and how long would have taken to put it all together, edit, and then send it live?
Well, thanks for putting me on the spot to do some financial calculation, as we're publicly financed. First of all, the first question would have been, would we have ever had the idea to do it? And I think, well, of course, Deutsche Welle is a very smart organization, but no. Because we didn't do it, and it was not for money reasons. Many good ideas do not cost that much money, because obviously you can ask people to send in their videos as well. That's what would we do as well. EBU even wouldn't cover this, I'm sure. They would not send their correspondents, around. There is no way of doing it, because then they would ask, where exactly is the crisis? Which is why I like Ulrich's statement. If the message is so strong and the video is so strong, and that can only be done by crowdsourcing or getting people from across the world in there.
Thanks. And there is always a question on the quality of crowdsourcing. Did you find when you got all the contribution that the quality was so bad that couldn't be broadcasted? And he went to a real film school, so he has some idea what looks good and what doesn't look good.
Well, the challenge in using the web, to now has been that the quality is very poor, and the reason for that is you have to compress video so that it can be viewed and distributed online. I think, and certainly with Citizen Global, the evolution has been towards people sharing broadcast quality media, and that sort of represents a growth in what we all sort of know to be true about online video.
Naveen, yes.
Yeah, I have a question. I was recently part of a panel in Pakistan, and somebody from the audience got up and said, I'm a citizen journalist, I take pictures. If I break my leg, who's going to look after me?
Wow. That's a good question. I don't know that at this point we can say that there are protections. There's many organizations, Witness, for example, that are using online video for human rights advocacy. And that's a major concern for them, is how do they ensure that their journalists are not put in harm's way. And I guess my answer to that is, we need to continue to develop the methodologies around this, and the sort of identity protection. As you said, in many of these places, it's not safe to report.